Hello, I'm Paul Walker from the GH Spoilers YouTube channel. Today is a gloomy, rainy Thursday here in New York, which perfectly matches the absolutely devastating news we have to discuss. We are breaking down the heartbreaking tragedy at Wyndemere Rocco's shocking fate and Dante's dark, vengeful turn. Grab some tissues and let's get into it. I cannot believe they actually did that. I am literally sitting here staring at my screen completely numb. Because did they really just kill off Rocco Falconeri? I mean, are we serious? Right now? You guys know, I've been watching this show for years and I have seen some wild, heartbreaking stuff. But this is easily the most devastating, soul-crushing thing the writers have done in a decade. I am so angry, I am so heartbroken, and I don't even have the words, but I have to get this out. We need to talk about this right now because I am losing my mind. They actually let Ross Cullum win this round, and the cost was a literal child, a legacy kid. I am typing this up late at night because I cannot sleep after watching that episode. My heart is physically aching for Dante. But wait, I'm getting ahead of myself. Let's back up to how this absolute nightmare even started. So Cullum finally puts the pieces together. He stops suspecting Danny and officially confirms that it was Rocco who pulled the trigger on the pier. And what does this absolute monster do? He doesn't go to the cops. He doesn't confront Dante or Lulu. No. He decides to play God in the most cowardly way possible. He orders his smarmy, pathetic henchman Pascal to stage an accident in the Wyndemere catacombs. Because, of course, he does. Cullum is a coward. He knew Rocco was heading down into those tunnels. And he used that to his advantage to silence the kid forever. I have hated Cullum for months, but this makes him public enemy number 1 in the history of Port Charles. And let's talk about Rocco for a second, because I am just so incredibly proud and devastated by him. That poor kid. He was just trying to do the right thing. He knew Danny and Charlotte were in way over their heads, trying to break into Wyndemere to get dirt on Jen Sidwell. He tried to warn them. He went to Britt Westbourne in a panic, but when nobody could stop them, he knew they were going to get themselves killed. So he goes down there to save his friends, and instead, he walks right into Pascal's trap. He was being a hero. He was acting just like his father, trying to protect the people he cares about, and it cost him his life. The way they filmed that scene in the dark, damp catacombs, it was literally like a horror movie. You could feel the dread building with every single step Rocco took. I was screaming at my TV, turn around. Rocco, just go back, call your dad. But no, Pascal orchestrates this horrific staged accident. And suddenly a teenager is bleeding out on the cold stone floor of Spoon Island. Am I the only one who felt physically sick watching that? The cruelty of it is just staggering. They didn't just hurt him, they made sure it was fatal. Pascal is a monster, and Cullum is the devil himself for giving that order. Okay, back to the point, because I need to talk about Dante. Dominic Zamprogna deserves every single Emmy for this episode. Every single one. Give him the trophy right now. When Dante finally figures out where his son is and rushes into those catacombs, guys, I lost it. I completely broke down. The sheer panic in his voice echoing off the stone walls. The way he dropped to his knees when he saw Rocco lying there, it was gut-wrenching. And then they actually let Dante hold him while he took his last breath. They didn't have Rocco die in a hospital bed off-screen surrounded by doctors. They made Dante watch the light leave his own son's eyes in a dirty, dark basement. I am sobbing just typing this. It was too much. It was just too much. Watching Dante clutch his boy, begging him to stay awake, screaming for help when he knew deep down it was already too late. You could literally see Dante's heart shatter into a million pieces. The raw, guttural sob that ripped out of his throat when Rocco stopped breathing is going to haunt my nightmares for years. That wasn't just acting, that was a masterclass in portraying pure, unfiltered parental agony. But you know what happens right after the grief? The realization. And this is where I am so frustrated with certain characters on this canvas. Dante is kneeling there in the dirt, covered in his son's blood, and the truth hits him like a freight train. This didn't have to happen. If he had just known the truth from the beginning, he could have protected Rocco. He could have put him in safe housing. He could have sent him to Sonny's private island. He could have assigned a massive police detail to watch his every move. But he didn't know because Lulu and Cassius decided to play a twisted, arrogant game of secrets. I'm sorry, but can we talk about Lulu's absolute failure as a mother here? I know some people are loving this angst, and I know she thought she was doing the right thing. But personally, I am furious with her. She knew Rocco shot Cullum. She knew Jason was rotting in a WSB black site in Jakarta, taking the fall for her son. And instead of trusting Dante, the literal acting police commissioner, and the boy's father, she listened to Cassius. Remember when Lulu used to be smart? Remember when she wouldn't let men dictate her choices? Yeah. Didn't work then either, but this is a new low. Her silence indirectly killed her son. There is no sugarcoating it. She thought she was protecting him by packing fake passports and planning to run away. But all she did was leave him vulnerable to a predator like Cullum. And don't even get me started on Cash's fake Nathan Faison. I hate this guy. I have hated him since he showed up wearing Nathan West's face. And now he is officially irredeemable in my eyes. He convinced Lulu to keep quiet. He manipulated the situation because he wanted to play hero and he wanted to keep Dante in the dark. He thought he could handle Ross Cullum and Jen Sidwell's syndicate. What an absolute joke. Cassius is nothing but a cheap, arrogant knockoff, and his god complex just cost a teenager his life. Dante is going to destroy him, and honestly, I am here for it. I want Dante to tear Cassius apart piece by piece. Cassius is sitting there holding Jocelyn Jax hostage, thinking he's in control, completely unaware that he just unleashed the wrath of a grieving father. Because let's be real, the ripple effect of this cover-up is massive and tragic. Jason is sitting in a hellhole in Jakarta, living in terrible conditions, all to protect a kid who is now deed. Jason sacrificed his freedom for absolutely nothing. Danny has been running around trying to avenge his dad, which is exactly what put everyone in the catacombs in the first place. Britt Westbourne has been risking her life, dealing with her Huntington's disease, trying to protect Rocco and Danny from Cullum, and it was all for nothing. The secret got Rocco killed anyway. It's just so incredibly tragic and frustrating to watch. All these characters suffer because of one terrible lie. But here is the part that actually has me shaking with anticipation. The righteous by the book cop Dante Falconeri, yeah, he's dead. He died in those catacombs right alongside his son. When Dante stood up from Rocco's body, the look in his eyes, I got chills. Actual chills all over my arms. We are about to see Dark Dante, and I don't think Port Charles is ready for what is coming. He is not going to arrest Ross Cullum. He is not going to read Pascal his Miranda rights. He is not going to build a legal case against Jen Sidwell. He is going to slaughter them. We always forget that Dante is Sonny Corinthos' son. We always focus on the badge, the uniform, the moral high ground. But Dante has darkness in his DNA. Remember his WSB brainwashing. Remember when he came back from Turkey and he was basically a programmed assassin who could kill without blinking. That guy is still in there. The righteous cop kept the assassin locked in a cage, but Cullum just blew the cage wide open. Dante is about to go on a bloody, relentless crusade, and I am 100% on his side. Burn it all down, Dante. Burn the WSB, burn Wyndemere, burn Sidwell's entire organization to the ground. I know some fans are going to complain. I can already see the forum posts. Oh, Dante is a cop. He shouldn't become a vigilante. This ruins his character. I'm sorry. But if someone murdered your child in a dark tunnel, would you care about police procedure? No. You would want blood. And Dante wants blood. He's going to use every single brutal, violent method he learned from the WSB, and probably a few he learned from Sonny to make Cullum pay. I want to see Pascal begging for mercy. I want to see Cullum realize that he messed with the wrong father. I want Dante to be the monster in their nightmares. And think about what this means for the mob dynamics in Port Charles. Sonny Corinthos is going to find out that his grandson was murdered by Jen Sidwell's syndicate. Sonny and Dante have had their differences over the years. They have fought on opposite sides of the law. But this is going to unite them in the most terrifying way possible. The Corinthos cartel and a rogue, grieving super cop teaming up to wipe out a global crime syndicate. It's going to be an absolute bloodbath. As much as I am crying over Rocco, I am so hyped for this war. Sidwell thinks he's untouchable because he has mercenaries and money. But he has never faced a grieving Corinthos. But I keep coming back to the complications at the PCPD. Detective Joe Fitzpatrick just showed up in town, and we already know he's suspicious of Dante. Joe was already annoyed when Dante let Curtis Ashford off the hook. What is Joe going to do when Dante starts leaving a trail of bodies? There are theories that Joe is actually one of Sidwell's police informants. If that's true, Dante isn't just fighting Cullum, he's fighting his own department. He's going to have to dodge Joe while he hunts down Pascal and Cullum. It adds this incredible layer of tension because Dante is completely isolated now. He trusts no one. Not the police, not Lulu, not the WSB, just himself and his rage. Wait, I need to circle back to Lulu for a second because my mind is just racing. How is she going to survive this? When Dante looks her in the eye and tells her that her secret got their son killed, I don't think she comes back from that. Their relationship is permanently destroyed. There is no coming back from your lies killed our child. She was literally packing fake passports, planning to go on the run, thinking she could outsmart a global intelligence director. The hubris, and now she has to live with the crushing guilt for the rest of her life. The writers are really pushing the boundaries of grief here. It's so dark. Sometimes I wonder if they go too far, but you can't deny that the drama is absolutely top tier. It hurts, but it's compelling television. I just keep thinking about that final shot of the episode. Dante walking out of the Wyndemere catacombs, his hands covered in Rocco's blood, his face completely devoid of emotion. He didn't call it in. He didn't radio Max Scorpio or the paramedics. He just walked into the night, a man with absolutely nothing left to lose. He has abandoned everything he stood for. Because the system failed his son, the law didn't protect Rocco. Lulu's secrets didn't protect Rocco. So Dante is going to become the law, the judge, the jury, and the executioner. So what do you guys think? Am I crazy for wanting Dante to go full Punisher on these guys? Are you as mad at Lulu and Cassius as I am? Or do you think they were genuinely just trying their best in an impossible situation? I know this is a massive blow to the canvas, losing a legacy character like Rocco Falconeri this early in his life, but the storyline potential going forward is insane. The fallout is going to touch every single family in Port Charles. The Spencers, the Falconeris, the Corinthos family, the WSB, everyone is going to feel the shockwave of this death. I'm going to be up all night thinking about this. Let me know your thoughts down below, because I clearly need a support group after this episode. I'm going to go cry into a pillow now and pray that Dante gets the justice Rocco deserves.